So I have all different kinds of Bibles. Just took some from the bathroom, the bookshelf, the living room. This is my husband's nightstand. He's got a lot of Bibles, way more than me. This is my nightstand chair. I keep a chair next to my bed right now. So those are my two old me Bibles. Let's light some candles for a little bit of ambiance. Yeah, there we go. I like that better. Take out my lovely fountain pen, which I bought a long time ago to fulfill a video request for another subscriber. I'm glad I still have it. Let's see, what do I want to do here first? Well, I'm glad to see it's still working. Let's see. Let's start with the living Bible. Those of you who are familiar with Bibles at all might recognize this name. Okay, Ben, don't stop working for me here. Let's see, try this. I think it just needs to get a little bit of flow in the pen. Paraphrased. Okay, so this is the Living Bible, and that means that it is paraphrased. And it is published by the Tyndale Publishing Company. I cannot tell you where this came from. I think that my husband tends to collect Bibles and got it from a thrift shop, possibly. Looking up the copyright here, it says that it goes up to 1973, but the first printing was in 1971. I believe it was the 70s that it became, that the Christian religion and faith became very modern. It says in the preface, in this wonderful day of many new translations and revisions, we can greet another new one with either dread or joy. Dread that people will become confused, or joy that some will understand it more perfectly, what the Bible is talking about. We choose the way of joy. Yeah, so basically a paraphrased Bible is just putting it in very, very liberally spoken everyday language, so that people can understand the Bible better. But there is some question in some people's minds as to who gets to make that determination of what the Bible is really saying. So there's a bit of controversy in that. And so here we're looking at illustrations of Ezekiel's temple. Alright, so there's say it's number 2, but it's the beginning of the new international versions that I have. New International Version, also known as the NIV. That's the acronym. Can't read much on the spine of this book, but it does say it's bonded leather. I don't think I really understand what bonded leather is. I just know that it's an inferior grade of leather. It has a ribbon on this one for a bookmarker, place mark. I have my name engraved on the front in gold. And there is these pages. I have them paper clipped because I didn't want to reveal all the personal information about myself that is listed in the front. But it contains an events a recorder. I have all of my events listed in the front of this Bible, or most of them. I should finish filling it out because lots of things have happened. Okay, so I think I've had this Bible since 1996. Not 1996, that's wrong. 1991 is when I received this Bible. And its copyright is 1984, and the publishing company is Zondervan. Zondervan. There is a preface in this that explains about the version that I'm about to look through. The New International Version is a completely new translation of the Holy Bible made by over 100 scholars, working directly from the best available Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek texts. It had its beginning in 1965, when after several years of exploratory study by committees from the Christian Reformed Church and the National Association of Evangelicals, a group of scholars met at Palace Heights, Illinois, and concurred in the need for a new translation of the Bible in contemporary English. This group, though not made up of official church representatives, was trans-denominational, and its conclusion was endorsed by a large number of leaders from many denominations who rest in Chicago in I couldn't read that date. So, this New International Version is not a literal translation. The pages on the outside have gold gilding. I don't really know if gilding is made of real gold, so I can't really tell you that. But it's pretty. Okay, I've got a lot of verses underlined here, and I don't know that I can remember at all the significance of the color code. being an Old and New Testament version. Old and New Testament. The red letter version is referring to the fact that these are words that Jesus actually spoke. Let the little children come to me, it says in that verse. Okay, let's see what else about this Bible. There's the damaged right there. And you can tell I've used this a lot. I just never really questioned anybody or anything at all about whether this version was a good version, because at the time that I received it, a lot of the people I was surrounded by at churches was using this version. They were using this version. Okay, so introductions to the books of the Bible, and then here's how to study the Bible. And then Bible verses for daily life. Oh, come on, Ben. Quit acting up. There's got to be a trick to this. Tap, tap. Okay. I'm calling it a Bible study, but it's actually just daily devotionals of daily verses that you can read. There's a lot of different stuff in this one. Oh, they have the teachings of Jesus and famous Bible stories too. Wow, okay. I'm going to be writing a lot about this one, if I can get my pen to work. Famous Bible stories. When I was little, my favorite Bible story was of Samson and Delilah. Okay, teachings of Jesus. I just loved the idea of God giving a man superhuman strength. And just as long as he kept his hair grown out and long. When we were living in the 60s, the guys, the young men would say, "Hey, Dad, quit picking on me for my long hair. Didn't Samson have long hair?" Yeah, he did. Okay, so this one has a dictionary, concordance. I didn't write everything down because there's so many little details. See, we've got some maps back here. World of the Patriarchs. This Bible was something that my husband bought in order to help him to learn to speak Spanish. While he was working at the golf course, he got to know quite a bit of Spanish because of the workers there. So he would leather at all. It's a very inexpensive Bible. It also has an events recorder in the front, but I did not want to reveal the first page of it to anybody because it has the previous owner's information, and I believe that should remain private, don't you? Let's find the copyright here. 1978, 73. Well, the latest one was 1984 by Zondervan. Oh, that's right. So it's an Old and New Testament. Obviously, by looking at the books of the Bible listed here in the front. What else does it have? The preface will be the same as my other Bible. It is the same Bible, but it has tabs there that help you find the different book that you want. Okay, so I imagine it will show us the concordance or references in the back as well. The pages won't get ripped this way. They're actually attached to the page in part of the page itself. That's kind of nice. Okay. Now this Bible is so crinkly. I should put a 1 through 10 numbers to determine the level of crinkly for each Bible. Some are more crinkly than others. And because this Bible was so smelly of perfume, it probably got a bit of water damage from a bathroom or something, who knows. But it's in very good condition. Very good. Very good condition, except for the water damage, which, of course, is just a plus for me. I like that sound. Okay, here we have a table of weights and measures. I guess that would help you understand, like, for instance, describing how the ark was built, or how they made bread, or things like that. Okay, we have a concordance here. see how frayed the edges are because it's not a quality cover. Alright, here we go. Change our paper out here. No, I promise I will not burn the house down by putting it over the flame. Although that would be a interesting look. gave back this Bible because it's so packed full of good stuff. References for sharing the gospel. See, that's a lot of information about a tiny little book. It's the best little black book I've ever seen. is just like almost like a dictionary, kind of, that you can pick out a word and it'll show you in the Bible where it's used. Okay, so more maps. The Holy Land in modern times. So that's an interesting map. Each Bible seems to have very different maps. I don't know why I wrote the word colored this time, because they're all in color, vivid color, but keep coming up with different ways of saying things. Now these pages are gilded too, but they don't look as bright. I don't know if it's a significant description of these Bibles, but so Thomas Nelson is the publishing company for this particular New King James Version. And this one is also by Thomas Nelson Publishing Company. Another New King James Version. So that's our third New King James Version. And this, again, is my husband's Bible. I don't know why he went out and bought a new one that is just like his old one. Maybe because he liked the cover. Because the other cover is not as nice. This says bonded leather. I cannot wait to find out. I am not going to Google this terminology because I want some smart person to tell me what it means in the comments. This is pretty burgundy dusty on the top or something speckled with something. Okay, now this is a humongous Bible. Nelson's Study Bible, Complete Study Bible, New King James Version, also published by the Nelson's Publishing Company. Now I have to find out, because I'm deeply curious, all of a sudden, if other publishing companies are allowed to publish. See, I just answered my own question. This is the New King James Version. No, I didn't answer my own question. Okay, shut up, Beck. Listen, what I want to know is if any other publishing companies besides Nelson's, Thomas Nelson's, is allowed to print the New King James Version. Okay, this is genuine leather. This is the only Bible so far that I've seen that is actually covered in genuine leather. I have covered the name on the front of the Bible because I want to hide keep anonymous the name of the original owner. It is somebody that I have known and my husband was close to. She left her Bible and we kept it. Beautiful ribbon, beautiful gold ribbon. I have blocked again the events calendar in the front to keep matters private. But it is, this Bible she used this Bible for studying in college. She went to a college in Tennessee. Okay, let us find the copyright here. $19.97 is when it was last printed here for purchase. When this was bought. Okay, how to understand the Bible. Full view Bible summaries. There's so much stuff in here. I don't think I'll be able to get it all written down. In-text maps. I don't even know what that means. I guess you would have to be kind of a scholar to understand some of this stuff. What should I write down? Definitely already had to write down that it's a study Bible. Let's just put the basics. It is Old and New Testament. Okay, what else do we have in here? This looks very interesting. This looks like a commentary. Like an opinion of some kind of studied scholars. a subject, but it's still a word, you know. Now here's their more comprehensive concordance, which includes names and not just a subject matter. Okay, and index to maps. See, there's another one of those. I don't even know what that means, index to maps. the same publishing company as the other Bible, the NIV Black. Okay, so what else about this Bible? This has, but it's so similar to this other one, the other one. Okay, but it does have the Thomas Nelson Concordance. Now I find that just fascinating. But they are, after all, responsible for the this time-honored version of 1611, itself a revision of the Bishop's Bible of 1568, became the Salt is the New American Standard Bible. Okay, so they're just saying that they are making a literal translation from the Hebrew and the Greek. So the New American Standard Bible is supposedly a literal translation, a literal one, not like King James and not like New King James, not like any of the other Bibles, which is why I think my parents chose this version to give me when I was a teenager. But this is not my old Bible. This is the one that my husband got, so he could be reading the same as me. And we'll get to that Bible. It's my last one. So this one, published by Sonder Van. Okay, they have an Old and New Testament, and it also is a red letter edition. Okay. I don't know if you guys have been able to hear this, but I have a cat that keeps going in and out of the cat door. And you guys probably can't hear it, but it's driving me bonkers. What does this say? Let's see. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and mind. On these two commandments depend the whole law and the prophets. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. Those are the words of Jesus. Okay, got the large print. It says Perspectives from the Bible. I've never seen it written out like that before either. Concordance. Okay, so it starts with the Concordance. The New American Standard Concordance to the Old and New Testament, it says. Okay. Date of Atonement. The large print thin line. Oh, promises. Okay, promises from the Bible. That's neat. I like that. I'm gonna have to borrow my husband's Bible because I don't think I have that in my old New American Standard Bible. And some more maps. These are different than any of the other ones I've seen in any of the Bibles before this. I don't really use the maps or look at them much, but I should if I was going to study. Those are pretty gilded pages, those were. This is my Bible from my teenage years. I believe I was somewhere around 14 or 16, somewhere in there when my folks gave this Bible to me. That's the only one we have in the house that is made Thank you for